Hi guys, just to refresh, I'm doing a booklet on Katsumi Komagata, a Japanese graphic designer who is famous for his crafted children's books. So on the left is the first prototype that I made last week. This one on the right is the one that I've done today. So the difference was that I was a bit more intentional with my measurements and spacing and sizes. So initially I was trying to do this by hand, but then I was thinking, why am I doing this? I can just go on the computer and then I can easily get all the right placements. So this will be the first page. Noticeable difference is that there's just more 3 blocks here, whereas last week I had 4. I've kind of kept to this pretty much a similar layout though. So last week I still wanted a pull out and I like that idea, so I brought it over across to the second prototype. And then I thought where the hidden spaces are when you pull out can be the section for text that I have not written up yet. I think the heart part, to extend it, I glued together 2 separate pieces of paper. The difficult part was I was trying to measure out exactly to get the spaces to be even, but I still haven't figured that out yet. It didn't work out how I planned to. So if you can kind of see here, this text space is a bit wider than this one here, and this middle section here is obviously wider too. I just have to kind of sit down again and have a bit more time to play out with where I should fold, but I do like how it's 3 different sections here, and the idea came from one of his books where he would have an image of, I believe, an animal, and then when you extend it out there's further kind of illustrations attached to each section that makes that's separate to this initial image here. So that's where the idea came from. The second page in this booklet came from the other idea that I showed last week. This was the first prototype. It was having colors and then having a cutout to a large animal, which is our fly. So the feedback was to play with the positioning and try to make the black parts more central focus in the piece. So I went back to look at the exact book that I was inspired by with this choice of color range and circles on the paper, and his circles were quite small, so I think the black cutout that I'll try to find like a hole puncher to get a nice clean circle, and so it lifts out again to a big dot, and then I guess where I'm trying to be creative with it is have it instead be a fly, and then maybe some text here that says animals are a recurring element in his books. So one of the other kind of characteristics of Katsumi is that he uses a lot of negative space, so I'm trying to kind of keep that consistent, or kind of do that with the booklet as well. This page here, I don't really know exactly what I will be doing. This is kind of similar to last week. Last week I had kind of these different pages, textures. I didn't really have in mind what the textures would be or what it would stand for. It was more so trying to mark different colors and show a bit more clearly the different layers of paper. So I just did that again. I actually quite like how it's, oh sorry, I dropped my stylus, but I actually quite like how it looks. It has that kind of blank negative white space there with the green. It kind of, how I try to work it in was that the next page would be a pop out, and so Katsumi actually has a book that has pop out trees. So that's my idea, was that I would try to make a pop out tree, and then I was thinking again, like these lines kind of actually look like the lines that you see in the wood, like in the trunks of trees. So maybe that's a connection there. So I quite like how it looks like this, and keeping it simple and maybe just a few text here. This one is, I talked about last week how I wanted to try play with light and make an image out of holes. So I kind of, you have to think that this is actually a solid color of blue paper. My idea was that, to create a constellation, so when you flip through this book and you turn to the other page, you still, I guess it depends on the angle that you have the light, but you would kind of see that constellation through to the other page. I might adjust my lamp, see how that works. Angle it this way. So you would flip, and the idea is, oh, I guess it's not working as how I'd hope it would. Not this way. Oh yeah, sorry, I have the lamp in the wrong direction. But if you kind of flip a page, the idea is that the constellation, you would see the like a constellation on the second page. And he doesn't have any books or works that have this kind of style, but I thought, so yeah, I thought it could be a theme that potentially he could be exploring. Like, it kind of goes with the kind of style that he does do originally. Why I chose this constellation, this is the constellation of Gemini. I only chose this one because I am a Gemini myself. I don't actually know much about constellations, but I thought that I was trying to think, if I had a children's book, or if I was a parent and I wanted to teach my child something, this, like, it would be an interesting topic to kind of have with your kid. You know, you look through the telescope to find these. Why not have it in your children's book as well? So I don't know, I might bring this here so you might see it. So that's maybe a better angle of what I was trying to achieve. The execution is a bit poor, so I haven't figured out how I'm going to be able to cut out nice circles, because they are varying shapes. So a hole cutter would work for some of the holes, but I'm not too sure how I'll get the smaller holes I tried using a knife cutter, stencil cutter, but it's very hard to make a perfect circle, so that's something I'll have to think about as well. But yeah, I like the creative thinking behind this idea. I think it just needs a bit of fine-tuning in terms of the holes, but yeah, I think it would actually look really nice. So it's a solid, just imagine as a solid navy blue paper, and then you would have these holes cut out, but on this page you wouldn't actually be able to see it. You can kind of see it now because it's like the shadows are there, but if both pages were actually the same color, the idea is that you don't see those holes until you turn the page, and then you start to see those constellations. I think I might just have like white text just in the center, so you'll have the stars all around that text, so like a starry night. This is the last page. Well, I don't know, I'm holding it. Last week I had it like this, so I made a note to try to incorporate bold primary colors, so I did that again, and then the idea is, yeah, to have a block of color and then the text below it to kind of keep that symmetry. I'm not sure whether it's just the color of my markers, but I'm not really vibing with this. I actually quite like how it's all red, like just red on white, and red on white are the Japanese flag colors. Katsumi Komagata is Japanese, so maybe that's a tribute to him. But I like the idea behind this because it just showcases a lot more that he uses bold, solid colors, and a lot of his works heavily feature like blues and greens. So I'm not too sure which one I'll have in the final, but I'm leaning a bit more towards this one, just aesthetically how it looks on the page. So one of the problems last week as well was how I would actually stitch up the book. So when I went to do this, I forgot to think about this. So actually my pages are all separate pages, and then I just taped it together, which is not ideal. So then I was thinking again, like if I have to stitch them, then the pages need to overlap each other like a book. So I tried to do that with this one, so it's just a plain text, plain prototype. There's no images or anything. And so I actually had the four different papers actually overlapping each other now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So then this would work well if I wanted to saddle stitch it to the front cover and to each other. But then the problem now is that I have these longer pieces here that obviously wouldn't be able to stitch. So then I was thinking, oh well, that means I can just cut it off and then I can still saddle stitch it. But then now the problem is that after this, so here I technically only have 1, 2, 3, kind of 4-ish. Like there's 8 pages, but there's only kind of supposed to be 4 kind of elements to the book to turn. So now it doesn't have that when I try to make the pages, I tried to fold the pages suitable for a saddle stitch, because this page, which is supposed to be this pull-out page, This pull-out page doesn't is actually still doable, so that's not the problem. The problem comes when it's like, say, the second page with the fly. It's supposed to go onto the fly is on its own separate page, whereas this one here, it would actually technically turn to this page. So I'm probably back to the drawing board again, because after the Starry Night page, so this middle one here would be the Starry Night page. I have 1, 2, 3 extra pages that I don't need. So yeah, just kind of back to square one. I think I'm on the right page though. I just need to sit down and focus more again about how the pages should be. So I think that's my hardest part, is figuring out how to actually compile the actual pages to be into a booklet. So just to wrap up my presentation, I'll just present through the booklet one last time. So this is the second prototype that I am up to for Katsumi Komagata. K is a cutout window that's inspired by one of his children's books. First page is a pull-out concept. I might be drawing an image if I have the time to, or I might just keep it as a shape, which he also uses a lot in his books. The next page is also a cutout and play on colors. The different part about this one is there's a surprise element of a bigger black circle, which is a fly. The next page is a kind of it's not a blank page, but I'm not too sure what to call this page yet. But when you turn it again, it's actually a page that pops out to a tree. And the second to last page is a solid blue paper colored page, Constellation Starry Night concept. Please don't mind the badly cut holes. And the last page is the page that will talk about Katsumi Komagata's use of bold solid colors. And that's where I am up to at the moment. So I think one of my other things is actually going out and buying suitable paper. So I just have really thin, flimsy, careful pieces of paper at the moment. It's a bit hard not being able to actually go into the shops and feel for the papers, because that might have been nice using, like, say for this one, it's on the tree, using actually textured paper that kind of feels like the bark of trees. Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys. Sorry for rambling on a lot.